Hi, St. Peter, and welcome to week 3 of Becoming Hungry, our parish-wide Lenten series on fasting. We are just about at the halfway point of this Lenten journey, so now's kind of a good time to check in with yourself. How has this journey been for you? How's your fast going? Are you growing closer to God? Just to recap where we've been for the last 2 weeks, we've been asking this question, why do we fast? And we've been coming up with different answers each week. Talked about how fasting prepares us for Easter and beyond. And last week we talked about fasting as a sacrifice. Well, this week we're going to talk about fasting as rest. And I'm super excited to have Mike Swatske join me. Mike and I went on Acts together.
We did.
Yeah, it was actually my fourth day.
It was your fourth day here.
Yeah.
You bought a house and you immediately came to the Acts retreat in preparation for this gig.
3 days of working here, and I was like, I need a retreat.
Yeah,
I gotta take a break.
Yeah, I can appreciate
it. Yeah. But the other reason Mike is here is you've been doing Exodus 90. So I'm excited to talk about that and weave it into these themes of rest and fasting. So this idea of rest, it comes from our first reading this week, which is the 10 Commandments. And right at the heart of these 10 Commandments is the commandment to keep holy the Sabbath day, to do what God did when God created the world. He paused, he said, it is very good, then he rested. What does rest mean to you?
Okay, that's a great question. For me, rest is it's a bigger word than just laying down and taking a breather. I feel like in the society that we live in, the culture that we live in, we are being bombarded on a regular basis of distractions, things to look at, where our attention should be delivered to on a very regular basis. And it kind of takes away from the important pieces. So rest for me is to quiet those moments down as much as possible, given the culture and society that we're in. It's the prayer time. It's the meditation time. It's the eliminating the phone. It's the eliminating the TV or movies or podcasts, except for ones like this.
Don't stop watching this.
Pieces like that, right? Being present to the moment, slowing down in a big and real way. That's rest. With that comes challenges, but a really profound understanding of the world and how beautiful it really is when you're able to sit in it.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's why I go back to the creation story. God says, it is very good, then he rests. He doesn't say, it's bad, I want to take a break from it. He says, it's very good because it's good. It allows him to rest.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you've got this creation, you've got this amazing thing, this world that's been given to us. It is an incredible gift. And rarely do we take that time to just sit back and be with it.
Yeah.
And enjoy it.
100%.
We're always like, it's the next thing. I got to get this done. Now I got to move to this. Now I got to move to that. Kids got to be here. Got to grocery shop. Got to clean the house. Piece after piece after piece. It never really ends unless we take that moment to say we need to pause.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
All right. So you mentioned challenges, and I think you're talking about Exodus 90 really here. Now, I don't know much about Exodus 90. And I, like most people, really only know one thing about it, the cold showers.
Sure. Yeah.
But there's got to be more to it. So what is Exodus 90? How long? What are the rules? What's your experience?
Sure. So Exodus 90 is a 90-day challenge. And serendipitously, it started January 1st of this year, and it will end on Easter Sunday, and that is going to be 90 days. So just by happenstance. There's several disciplines that come with this, and I'll try to run through all of them here, or at least most of them. There is no sweets, no sugar, no snacking of any kind in between meals. There's no alcohol of any kind. Daily cold showers. Guaranteed 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. 30 minutes of exercise 5 times a week. And then there is also 30 minutes of daily meditation or prayer, if you can. And then like a daily acumen, right? Like at the end of every day, kind of register how the day went, what you can do, how you can do it better. No TV, no social media, no movies or like distractions from that perspective. So those are the big ones, I think. You can every Sunday and every feast day give yourself one discipline back. So if you really want to on a Sunday take a hot shower, take a hot shower. If you want to watch, a TV show or binge a movie or something, go for it.
Yeah.
On a Sunday, right? You really want a piece of that chocolate cake? Have at it. But those are the big pieces.
Okay, awesome. But I guess let me ask a deeper question. Are you finding it challenging, or are you finding it restful, or what?
That's a great question. Yes, to both. It is challenging. I would say the first 21 days of this process were the easiest so far, only because it was new, it was challenging, right? Like, I can do this. Like, my ego was on board for this, right? Like, oh yeah, we can give up these things, we can do these things because we're tough and we're rugged.
Yeah.
But as that process has continued to move on, you're forced in that restful period to do a lot of self-examination and to be with yourself on a regular basis and to be with yourself in a quiet place without those distractions that we're so readily given, right? Prior to Exodus, if I'm in one of those moments, which are few and far between, but if I had a moment where it was quiet or restful, I'm not going to sit with myself in silence or quiet or prayerful meditation or any of those things. I'm going to grab my phone and I'm going to scroll Twitter.
Infinite scrolling, forever.
Yeah. With that, having the discipline to remove that for 90 days, and you're forced to kind of be in that space with yourself in that rest, you do a lot of self-examination, and you have a lot of quiet moments with yourself where you are battling, right? In some ways, you're battling with your faith, you're battling with your demons, you're battling with your ego, because that ego is constantly trying to get back on top.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to put that aside, there's struggle. Right, there's some bombardment going on there between your lower self and your higher self.
100%, yeah. Or I'm thinking of the Thomas Keating reading excerpt we had last week, where he talks about the false self, true self.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of says that is the spiritual battle. This battle between our false self or our lower self and our true self.
100%, and we are, whether we know it or not, we are all in this battle. But unfortunately, that this world that we live in, right, we are constantly given these dopamine hits, one after the other, whether it be your TV, right, Netflix binge, or your phone for social media scrolling, or any of those pieces. We're always hit with that on a regular basis, and the addiction level for that is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
And so actively removing that, it's powerful.
Yeah, powerful in a challenging way, but like you said, and in a restful way.
Yeah, 100, yes, but yes, again, restful. When you come to those moments of peace and quiet, it is truly restful. Like, if you can be outside on a nice day where the sun is shining and you're just listening and being quiet, it's amazing. I can feel my blood pressure drop 20 points.
Nice. So, I mean, how would you encourage someone to get started in this direction? Because I mean, this is scary stuff. We're talking about wrestling, we're talking about battling, challenge, all this. But like, what would you say to someone to encourage them to dive in and practice this type of fast or rest or any sort of ascetical practice?
Yeah. I was given great advice at the very beginning of this, and it was, you will fail. Right?
Yeah.
And that was a really, it wasn't discouraging. It was if you go into this thinking you're going to be perfect all the way through it, you're going to be met with disappointments, because that's not what this is about. It's about a gradual process, a gradual change, right, over the course of 90 days.
Yeah.
You're not going to jump in on day one and be like, oh, I've made it. So it's like if you come into it with the understanding that you're gonna fall off the horse, you're gonna drop the ball a couple times, that's okay, right? And I would say start small and not with cold showers. Right. I would like, if you really like the phone scrolling like I did, or still do, truthfully, try giving that up, right? Do it for a week, right? Put it aside and be present to the moment outside of that, right? If it, whatever it might be, whatever that dopamine hit that I constantly refer to, whatever that might be, recognize what that is and try to put it aside for a minute. And instead of doing it, just be quiet.
Yeah.
Right. Be silent. Do some self-reflection. Do some reading. Anything that might open your mind up in a way that isn't being done so on the ordinary basis.
Awesome. Mike, thank you very much for this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned so much, and I'm excited for the rest of Lent to kind of take this with me.
Me too. Let's keep moving it forward.
Awesome. And thank you all for watching. We have some really good content this week. We have an excerpt from Henry Nouwen, who talks about solitude kind of another way of thinking about fasting. And he specifically talks about our saint of the week too, Saint Anthony of Egypt, one of the desert fathers who really almost pioneered this whole practice. So go out, go read, go chew on this, but let's all fast, let's all rest this week. And let's remember at the end of the day that it is very good and it's all worth it. Amen, St. Peter?